Hello, Habitat Gardeners. Hello, bird nerds. I'm Grant. I'm a bird nerd. This is Habitat Gardening, the offshoot of the bird emergency, where I get to talk about great plants and techniques, strategies, tips, tricks that you can use when you're building or maintaining or creating your own habitat garden. Now, I may be a little bit distracted today because Loz is with me today. Um, no doubt he'll arrive on my shoulder shortly or on the mic. I've dressed up his stand that I carry around from room to room when I want to let him out and have some fun. And I've dressed it today with some callistemon and some eucalyptus flowers. Eucalyptus leucoxylon and callistemon, I think it's punctatus, that I've trimmed from the local park. And he's happily browsing on the callistemon or the bottlebrush at the moment. But when Loz is bored, he'll probably join in. Today, the plan is to talk about the Myrtaceae family, which is indeed the dominant family of, well, Myrtaceae or the acacias, arguably, the dominant family of plants in Australia. According to the Invasive Species Council, they're quoting from the New South Wales New South Wales Scientific Committee from 2010 that Myrtaceae comprises about 10% of all native plant species. And forgive me, I am looking off to read the data sheet. With 88 genera, and 2,253 species in 2010. There's going to be more now, for sure. Many are endemic, which means they're only found in Australia, or almost endemic to regions within the high risk zone for eucalyptus rust or myrtle rust. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. The Myrtaceae are ecologically important, frequently the dominant floristic and or structural element, providing habitat and resources for many other species. And Loz is a rainbow lorikeet. The bird behind me is a swift parrot, and they both are blossom nectar feeders. And they are specialised, highly adapted to feed on eucalyptus and corymbia. So they're blossom migrants, basically. Well, rainbow lorikeets are, and the swift parrot follows the blossoms in its migratory pattern from Tasmania to the mainland and back. So Myrtaceae is really important ecologically in Australia, but it's a fantastic group of plants just for growing in your garden. They are so varied. You can use them in so many structural and functional ways in your garden. Nectar feeders will love them, but seed-eating birds and animals will love them. Cockatoos, parrots, other parrots will attack the seed capsules. Indeed, they love to rip the flowers apart too. So let me just get a list of some of the. Oh, let's have a look at some of some of the floristic differences. Which one are we looking at? This one at the moment? Yes. All right. Here we go. I'm going to put this on full screen. Now, this gives you an idea of some of the differences in the flower types. You're going to be familiar with many of them. Look at this. The tea tree, or the leptospermums, they're Myrtaceae. You may have seen the Beckia, they're Myrtaceae. Oh, look, the black pender, or sometimes called the golden pender. Now, this is fast becoming a common street tree here in Melbourne. That's Myrtaceae. Oh, look, one of the very common and adaptable, reliable plants in the garden is Kunzia baxteri. Of course, this is a myrtus or a myrtle. Calatrix, a plant you'll often see in heathland. Terrific garden plant too, some of the species and cultivars. Another forest plant, Lysicarpus. Myrtaceae. Just have a look at a few. Melaleucas. And Melaleucas are very similar to Kunzia and to callistemons. But of course, we haven't talked about eucalyptus. So there are, here's another eucalyptus. There are just so many varieties. Oh, here we go. The red flowering gum, or they're now corymbias. Even within eucalyptus and corymbia, there are so many different flower types. And look at this. Psidium, which is one of the guavas, not the true guava. There's so much variation. No, that's not a melaleuca. That one there. No. All right. Actually, I don't think this is either. No, I think that's just an ad. Let's go back to where we know. No, now, take that out of full screen. Actually, we can probably take off. Where's my list? Where's my list? Oh, this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Sorry. Now, if you've ever heard of any of these... Oh, I forgot to start the... I forgot to invite Instagram in. We might just let Instagram know. We'll just put the breaking news that Instagram only goes for an hour. And if you are watching on Instagram, you should instead move over to YouTube, thebirdemergency.com/YouTube. That will automatically subscribe you and you will find us here. Okay, let's talk more about just some of the plants that you may be familiar with in your local nursery that are Myrtaceae. Acmina, they're lily pillies. Actinidium, that's uh, it looks like a daisy when you see it. Looks like it's got daisy flowers uh, on the end of the stems. Agonis, the big weeping willow myrtle, we call that. Angophoras, which are very similar to eucalyptus. Ostromertus, they have a little droop, a little fruit after flowering. Beaufordia, callistemon. There's just so many. Darwinias are in that group. Go down to the bottom. Waterhousia floribunda, a fantastic decorative plant. Verticordia, stunning flowers, amazing in the garden. Regelia, the same, stunning red flowers. Schultzia, you may not have heard of any of these, but you will have heard of Melaleuca and Metrosideros. Metrosideros tomentosa, one of the great plants to come out of New Zealand that is used horticulturally here in Australia. Just having a look too in for the Instagrammers, they're a little bit behind the normal stream. So let me pop this up again too, so the Instagram people know that they're not getting the best situation. Instagrammers, I am popping back and forward to see if you're leaving comments. You can leave comments, and I will, or questions, and I'll come back to you. Hypercalama, a fantastic West Australian genus. I mentioned the Darwinias. What else is in there? Lophostomen. And if Lophostomen is in there, that will mean there we are, Tristania and Tristaniopsis, verticordias. All right, I'm going to take that list out. Now, Myrtaceae plants range from dwarf plants you can use as potted specimens, use in a rockery, as understory. Ostromertus dulcis is a semi-rainforest plant. Will do well in shady areas. You've got, of course, eucalypts, that melaleucas, kunzias, that love the sunshine. You've got some that will do well in part shade. There's a leptospermum, a tea tree, for virtually every situation. What I really just want to say today is, number one, they are beautiful. Now, I better make sure I get 10 written down here. Let me do that, because I always forget. That gives me an opportunity to go back to Instagram. Hello, Instagram. I'm just answering Glenn in Facebook. Well, that might be a reason why no one's logging in on Facebook. Um, uh, uh, all right. Just another What's happening? What's happening? I don't want it to share. I've hit the wrong button, I think, on the Instagram. Let's come back to, let's come back here. All right. Hello, YouTube. I think we had some kind of delay with the stream getting going this morning. I don't know. And now I can't do something on Instagram. I don't know. Instagram is always a drama. I'll just carry on regardless, and I will put the Instagram breaking news up again. Instagram stream drops off after an hour. Okay. What did I say? Number one. Number one, beautiful. Number two, structurally important in a garden. And the reason I say that is you think of what a large or medium-sized eucalypt gives you, a gum tree gives you in your garden. It gives you a place for the birds like Loz to arrive into your garden, have a look around, make sure it's safe, survey if your water is full, if your water dish is full, to see if you've got any feed out, to see if you've got some tasty morsels flowering in the garden, or if the cockatoos arrive, seeing if there's any seed pods that they can come down a bit closer to the house and attack. So they're structural. They're varied. You can, within the Myrtaceae group, you can get any measure of size and shape. Number 4, flowers. I think we had a look at some of the flowers just a minute ago. We might pop in, or maybe when I edit the video, we'll put flowers in so you can see them better. But blossom feeders and butterflies and all of the insects that like to get pollen and also like to get nectar will be all over Myrtaceae. Also, Myrtaceae are their plants. Let's go to foliage. Number 5, foliage. Now, one of the attributes, one of the characteristics of Myrtaceae is that their leaves are entire. You don't see them scalloped or pinnate or bipinnate like a lot of wattles and other plants. They are whole, even though they're different shapes. They are whole. Oh, gee, I don't know what's going on with Instagram. At least the stream is still going. Instagram, I'm trying to send messages to you there. It looks like Facebook's not working, so the joys of live streaming, hey? Yeah, so foliage is generally, it is oil filled. So it retains moisture and it protects the plant from evapotranspiration or from evaporation. So eucalypts, Myrtaceae will often be able to withstand periods where regular water is not available. So that's another benefit. But the foliage is often stunning and fragrant. Think of the odor you get from eucalyptus leaves, especially after rain. The same can be said for Corymbia and Angophoras. Think of leptospermums, the tea tree. So the foliage is a big benefit. Number 6, the fruits. I alluded to it before about that the different types of birds will get value from both the flowers and the fruits. I talked about the flower types, but the fruit types are fantastic value nutritionally for birds. You think of if you ever open up a eucalyptus seed pod, they're packed. Most of them are packed with hundreds or thousands of seeds. Seeds are highly nutritious, and that's why you will see rosellas and even the red rump parrots, the grass parrots, neophemas, galahs, cockatoos, hoeing into the appropriately sized seed pods for them. So we've got that. Number 7, nesting or shelter. Mature eucalypts, angophoras, Leuphostomans, Tristanias, Tristaniopsis, all of the large Myrtaceae offer, when they're mature, hollows, and they are then shelter opportunities or nesting opportunities. But the smaller ones do too, not for birds, not for possums, but for all the other arachnids, the insects. You coming over, Loz? I think Loz wants to come and visit. He's sick of his flowers. So that's what another thing the Myrtaceae will give you. Sorry, I'm looking away from the camera, but I'm making a list of my 8. Oh, now he's throwing his toys around. Extended flowering periods. We've done a timetable once before of the callistemons and how you can select bottlebrushes to flower all year, and you can. It's quite easy. So, food availability for the whole year for using Myrtaceae. Number 9, it's an extension of this point. Not only do you get the opportunity to have flowering all year for food, but if you select between wisely, you will also be able to get a different colour palette of flowers right throughout the year. And from a design point of view, that's important. So let's just call that design colour. And then number 10, and it's really should have been number 1, but Myrtaceae are, you can always find a plant from Myrtaceae that will fit your particular need in your particular garden. You can find prostrate Myrtaceae. You can find rambling, as in tumbling, untidy, straggly Myrtaceae. You can find upright, fastigiate forms of Myrtaceae. You can find dwarf forms. You can find, just think of the variation within the eucalypt group. Multi-stemmed, dead straight, wandering, scribbly barks, peeling barks, flaky barks, beautiful white bark, hard, dense black bark. Myrtaceae, you can find a Myrtaceae that will fit your spot, and I will be happy to help you find one. Let me just get into back to Instagram. I think Instagram may have given up. I don't know. Sorry about that. I think I'm going to have to stop doing the dual streams. I think I'm going to have to do a Instagram habitat gardening on its own. I think we might do that. We might do that. Okay, that's my wrap, pretty much, of Myrtaceae. Loz hasn't come back to visit me. You're not being my friend this morning, Loz. If you've come in recently, Loz is a rainbow lorikeet that turned up here on New Year's Eve last year. So we're almost up to a year of cohabiting with Loz. And Loz, being a rainbow lorikeet, in the wild is very reliant on the blossoms of the native Myrtaceae and their flowering pattern all across the country. Now, there's probably another 10 reasons for Myrtaceae, generally in the community, but we'll leave it there. What I did want to say, though, there is a problem, an issue with Myrtaceae that we should be aware of. Let me just pop this up now. Now, this is from the Invasive Species Council. Oh, come across here. Here we go. There is a disease out there called myrtle rust. And as the name indicates, it affects plants in the myrtle family, Myrtaceae. There had been an effort to keep it out of Australia. It has done a lot of damage worldwide, wherever. Oh, there we are. You heard Loz, I'm guessing. Particularly through Indonesia, New Guinea, because they share a lot of similar Myrtaceae plants. Anyway, the biosecurity efforts had failed, whether it was on imported green life, or whether it has come in as packaging material like wood shavings or something like that. It doesn't matter, but it's a fungus. It's called myrtle rust, Piccinia sidii, and it causes the particular one that we're worried about is part of a complex group of fungi known as the eucalyptus or guava rusts. Their main economic impact for Australia is expected to be in forestry. And there are a number of the signs, the symptoms of myrtle rust. That's on a Melaleuca quinquenervia, Agonis flexuosa, the after dark or the sort of purpley leaf variant, and on the turpentine or syncarpia. Jeff Pegg is a plant pathologist with Biosecurity Queensland, and he has called myrtle rust the pinnacle of pathogens we wanted to keep out of Australia. Eucalyptus rust disease is highly variable depending on the strain and the susceptibility of the host species, that particular species that is affected. Eucalyptus rust has caused severe damage to plants elsewhere. Myrtaceae plants dominate many Australian ecosystems and are naive to the pathogen, meaning they've never seen it before. It's never affected them before. They haven't evolved alongside it. And that suggests the impacts could be severe and change over time as the rust adapts to Australian conditions, because pathogens, fungi, do that. And because it's a fungus, there's no control options in a wild setting. In a garden setting, there is no other way to control it other than fungicide or management. And I'll do a separate program about how to manage the risk, but the main things are never buy or take cuttings or accept from family members or anyone else plants that have spots or disfigured foliage. And it's quite variable, but the way I have the rule of thumb is, you think of peaches and all the stone fruit. They have similar kind of diseases, and the symptoms, the visual indicators, are quite similar. Spots, pustules, disfigured foliage. The main thing is you want to keep it out of your garden. And if you do have it, you really want to remove those plants so that there's no way it can affect others, and it can't spread to your neighbours. So, just say I'm looking for control. There's a control. I'll just look for it. You can see, oh, here we go. Share this tab instead. Now, this is the Australian Government Department of Climate Change, Energy, Environment and Water. Just to give you an idea, that is the spores. So you saw the spots, and then the spores as the fungus breaks through the surface and fruits of the leaves. So the emergency response to myrtle rust is remove host material, apply fungicide, and create a buffer zone. In the garden, that generally means eradicating any infected plant. I'm just looking for disposal. All right. Myrtle rust reproduces and spreads through its spores. The spores can be spread on clothing. So if you're walking through an area that is infected, you need to do the biosecurity when you get home. You need to make sure you take all your clothes off, you wash them very thoroughly. Your boots, your shoes have to be thoroughly cleaned. You can't really pour the water down the drain. It really needs to be disinfected. Hair and skin, you can get the spores. Obviously infected plants. Equipment, tyre tracks, under mud guards, all kinds of things. Insects and animals can be dispersed on the wind. It's difficult. It has a temperature range that the germination of the spores is 15 degrees Celsius and 25 degrees Celsius. So that's most of the arable land in Australia. I'm just looking for other control measures. Control measures. Fungicide spray program can effectively reduce the levels of myrtle rust infection in plant nurseries and home gardens. However, not feasible in bushland settings. So if you do get myrtle rust infection in your garden, you absolutely must eradicate it if you can. Because all of us live near parks. Think of your street trees. They're going to be eucalypts and callistemons in many locations. And then think of the bush. No matter where you live, you're going to have tea trees or eucalypts or kunzias or calitrix or any of these plants are going to make up a large part of your local bushland. While the introduction or spread of the fungus can occur through natural processes such as wind dispersals, human can also transport it. This often occurs through the contamination of items with myrtle rust spores such as clothing, equipment, vehicles, machinery, and plant material. So, this is a lot like the parrot, beak, and feather disease virus. You've got to clean everything. So, how do you prevent the spread? Regularly clean garden tools and equipment. Inspect your garden regularly for signs of myrtle rust. I'll do another stream just about myrtle rust. Ensuring you check for signs of myrtle rust when you are purchasing plants. Do not purchase plants that have spotty leaves with obvious pustules. Even disfigured leaves can be a warning sign. Do not move or collect infected plants or plant material. If you suspect your plant in your garden has myrtle rust, report it. There we are. This is what I was wondering. I would be thinking about cutting it out, but no. Report it and let the local authorities, your state or territory biosecurity authority, will take care of it. Washing clothes you wear in nurseries, parks or bushland before entering other areas. Treating myrtle rust in your home garden or approved fungicides for treating myrtle rust. If you think you have myrtle rust in your garden, here we go. This is important. The Exotic Plant Pest Hotline. Exotic Plant Pest Hotline. 1-800-084-881. That's in Australia. There is... I'll link to these other resources. And as I say, we will be doing, or I will be doing, and I'll get some experts in to talk about myrtle rust. Okay. I think that is really as much as I wanted to say about myrtle rust. I hope you are, there's an indication of the kind of effect and dieback effect, weakening effect that myrtle rust can have on mature trees. So you think about how important our forests and bushland are for so many of our industries and just our well-being. Not to mention critters like Loz. Hey, Loz. So it's really important that myrtle rust is controlled. The idea of eradicating it is probably um, not possible. Well, I'd say definitely not possible. So we really need to arrest the spread. There we are, some more indications of what it looks like. But I will get some experts on to talk in more detail about myrtle rust. Okay, I think we can just see if anyone's got any questions. I'll just pop back to Instagram and see if they're still with us. Looks like, yeah, Instagram stream is still going. That's a good opportunity to tell them Instagram stream only lasts for an hour. There we go. I think I've done that enough times. Does anyone have any questions this morning? Any comments? I did want to let people know that I have a new membership tier available to support the bird emergency. And as part of that membership tier, I'm going to be giving you some plants. That's the perk, or the reward for membership. And for November, I'm doubling the offer. I'm trying to think. I think it was after Christmas last year. I talked about the kind of plants I would be putting into my habitat gardening project here at home. And it's been pretty delayed. I must admit there hasn't been a lot of agreement about how it should happen here, as I've outlined in the show before, that we don't have really any room for garden. The main area that I can make some kind of impact with habitat style planting is on the side of a driveway. Now, we don't have a car, so we do have the opportunity to plant it, to use large containers in a bed, or behind a retaining wall, really, a timber edging that will look like a wall, to contain all of the containers, and then we can mulch the top and everything. So I'm growing most of them. Now, when you grow things from seed, you end up with lots of extras, and I had mused about sort of curating a couple of collections, and that's what I'm doing. So we're in the process of growing them now. I'm waiting for most of them to germinate. And the first batch are mostly Myrtaceae, a variety of callistemons, melaleucas, eucalypts, corymbias, leptospermums. I'm just trying to think what else is in there. That's most of the first batch. The second batch is Banksias from seed, Hakeas from seed, and cuttings. I'll start doing the cuttings maybe this month. Yeah, maybe I'll try. I'll start some this month and see how they go, and that will be Westringas, Corias. To start with, they're all going to be plants nearby for me. Oh, and some of the other Banksias too. Greetings to new YouTube watchers. Just flick over and see. Hello to Instagram. That means I've got to put the warning up again. So there we are. Okay, back. So yeah, so the idea is, and I've workshopped it a little bit, that I always end up with extra seedlings anyway. So what I'm going to do is grow them on, as I would do if I was running a nursery. I'm going to grow them on to and put them into forestry, 50 mil forestry tubes, and I'll send a dozen to people who take out the annual membership. And if you take out the annual membership in November, I'll send you 2 dozen for the same price. Even though I'm not selling them, this is a reward for becoming a member, an annual member of the Bird Emergency. And you can do that through Buy Me a Coffee, and that's thebirdemergency.com/coffee. Don't worry, I'll be putting it all on socials. But you can find an article about the perk. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Here's the article I wrote. Let's just get that up. There we are. There's the article I wrote. Where are we? Here it is. Just explaining what I'm doing and how it will, how things will be done. So the extra perk as well for being involved is I'm setting up a habitat gardening room in the Discord server. So we'll start promoting that next week, and that'll be the main perk for that tier. There is a PayPal donation link as well, and you can donate directly that way. So it will be a donation, but as a consequence of donating the particular amount, you will get either the 1 dozen, or if you do it in November, you will get the 2 dozen. But everyone needs to understand that I'm growing the plants now, so they will be sent out when they are mature enough. So sort of that high. And they'll go out in a regular Australia Post box. Australia Post is now very good at delivering tube stock. So that's what will be happening with that. Now, I would really appreciate people taking it up, because if I know people are interested, it gives me the incentive to broaden the range of plants, and I would keep it going. I can produce enough plants where I live to foster a small community of plant needers of plants. But I could never do commercial, and the level of membership that I expect would only be 15, 20, maybe 30 people, and I can easily keep that kind of numbers popping over, and we can always keep extending it. I will be growing for myself some very interesting plants, and when you buy plant seed, or if you're out taking cuttings, it's just as easy to take the cuttings and for 200 or 300 plants as it is for 5 or 10. So that's the rationale behind it. And I can guarantee you I'll be growing things that you will not find in your regular run-of-the-mill garden centre. Indeed, if you're limited to going to Bunnings, I'll be growing many, many things you'll never find in Bunnings. And of course, I think I worked it out that it's only something like 50 cents more or something more per month than it would. Anyway, I'll talk about it. It's basically you're getting the plants for nothing, because that membership tier exists anyway. I think it was $1 a month extra. So if you're getting just 24 plants, they're pretty cheap plants. Anyway, The article is up on Buy Me a Coffee now, so you can go there, thebirdemergency.com/coffee, and I will be republishing it on my website and the Facebook and where else will I publish it? I'll just do videos for everywhere else, I think. Anyway, that's about where I'm at. Let's have a look at Instagram again. Still going. Still going. Oh, good. They're getting to the... they're almost caught up to where we're at. Okay. Great. Ripper. Let us know where you're watching from or listening from. Usually by now I've had some comments from people popping in, but I haven't seen anyone. It looks like Facebook just didn't work today. That's unfortunate. I'll rebroadcast this. Oh, you don't need to know that because you're already watching it, but I will rebroadcast it later on. Okay, folks, I think that's about all I wanted to say for today. I've given you 10 reasons that Myrtaceae are really useful for your garden. Talked about some of the environmental implications of the myrtle rust that has made its way to Australia, and yeah, I think that's about it. We'll have to follow up about myrtle rust. And having introduced you to the family Myrtaceae, I'll do some breakdowns and probably videos rather than live streams about the benefits of particular genera, not each genus, but particular genera of Myrtaceae plants. And we've already done the flowering calendar of callistemons. I think I might do the next two Myrtaceae ones will be melaleucas and eucalypts, and we will have to divide them up into small, tall, and medium, and treat them with, the months and the colours. Anyway, I'll work through that, how the best way to present that is. If there's anything you would like me to cover in our Habitat Gardening sessions, our live streams, if you have any questions, you can always hit me up at grant@thebirdemergency.com. Please, if you do email me, make sure the information that if you want me to comment or attempt a diagnosis, plenty of information, photos. If it's about your garden, lots of photos or drawings attached will help me make a sensible response. Apart from being a bird nerd, I am a horticulturist. I was an irrigation designer. I know a bit. I know a bit for a clown who talks into a microphone. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to catching up with you on the Bird Emergency during the week. I can tell you there's a lot of content you may not have seen popping up on all the socials this week that will hopefully encourage you to check out some of the longer form content. I'm Grant. I'm a bird nerd. I'm also a plant nerd. This is Habitat Gardening. I will see you later. Bye.